Aquaba, Lady Stylish, Mr. Luxon, TikTok, Aquaba. Her Majesty Aquaba. Aquaba YouTube. As for YouTube, if you do not write a comment, I cannot know who is here. So Aquaba to all of you. And with my delving deep to find more about who Rollins is, KİİŁ, Kito, Aquaba. Into delving deep into who Jerry Rollins is, I've pounced on too much. To say J.J. Rollins was a murderer is such a joke. It's an understatement. It's that in itself is against humanity. That we use such a little adjective to describe his atrocities. Evelyn Cheyakaba, Nana Abena Chum Aquaba, Boro Aquaba. Please, YouTube Aquaba, but I cannot mention your name unless you write a comment. Hey, Rollins Odibone. Shy, Papa no Odibone. Odibone. Odibone. Odibone pa. I don't give a damn about who JB Danka is. Me, I don't give a damn. Go and listen to that on Kevin Taylor's platform. I am copying him. I am photocopying him. I am cloning him. The stupidity of Kevin Taylor now, I am cloning him. Yeah, remember our photocopy version. So go there and listen to JB Danka's lecture. Here we are talking of a Udifo. So let's go on. Thank you for motivating me. Acel, Mont McCarthy, Georgina, Boahin, him. I'll cover to all of you, but I'll kindly share. Rollins. We are going to have this conversation with a very trustworthy, noteworthy, factual human being called Adabuga. Adabuga no ni Rollins is the born in fact Adabuga na oye kuno na ozi Rollins ne Nando silver platter. Rollins hufuno. Rollins hufuno. I don't give a damn who JB Danka is. I don't care. Go for his lectures at that idiot's platform. Why do you need one? Anyway, just so you know, I don't have time to block you, so you can find yourself the fuck out. Aquaba, Yanko. So, as my title or topic says, how many Nimpa dodo saying Ena Jerry John Rollins Okumomo. How many did he analyze? Zaneto, I am now extremely happy that I'm out position there. You are the daughter of the beast. You are the daughter of the beast. Zaneto, oh, how ma bawo di si abotan. Oh, yes. Si abotan. Mami yo papa ndi liwi. Modru udo. Meba can be ma ono. Say it was okay. Na sisi ya munde sana wankasa so. When you are a tratra, when you want to on mama mbakaye. Si abotan. You want to exhibit tendencies of your father's stupidity. Right? Ikejina simpie so June 4th na awu Africa kraba awu izin krofu won kunu ma enye won won ba awu like intina your mahama ma opposition no Zaneto papa onye wuzi ni oye beast in the obete in the say what my boy na kweku baako or describe how they slit the hole. May one continue to know. Oh, would chow be was more yet. They roasted what was dick was a 20 testicles. Now, what roasty more bomuker on a man in Sufi River. TikTok, no one under the one say, oh, pretty moment. TikTok, for when you go to my YouTube, and you see the video I did yesterday, it says, who was JJ Rollins? Go and listen to it. It was just 1 hour. I'm going to try to do this one to just 1 hour, so that we'll be at the journal with it. For the sake of TikTok, we are about how many Rollins killed.
And not currently there, we are saddled with the funeral. The demise of my
your brother.
See, menya that concentration, the focus, and ordinarily me follow assassin radio interview.
Okay.
Even though me home adverts, but I know the presence of mind wasn't there. Timothy and the Wisi. So now Ukraine it accepts me to your platform. You'll be surprised know that I haven't had the time to scan the thing or even scrutinize it.
Oh, okay.
But because it to your platform, let me read some news items, Then I realized I really missed something. Indeed, Professor Kuku Aza. Yes, I'm not calling my attention to it before I was crying.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you put it on the platform. I don't think we waste too much time, but basically, I had my testimony at the NRC was untrue, false, Nyadama.
Yeah, and then there was an attribution to Ben Epson as well.
Virtually, they lied.
Yeah.
And in the process, I tried to get Ben into a conspiracy, also to go and lie. Am I accurate?
Yes.
Fair interpretation. Now, Kwame, look at the NRC report. Wow. The volume 1, chapter 5, page 146. Let me read, was summarizing.
Okay, thank God it's a summary.
Yes, but you have to have patience. Otherwise, you shouldn't have made us discuss this matter.
I wasn't making you discuss. I was just asking your opinion.
It's okay. In the Kabila and Champagne won't come.
Yeah, what's about?
Okay, I hear. To you,
Yes.
paragraph 5.7, 5.7 or 5.7. Okay, this is NRC talking. Two respected journalists, Kweku Baku Jr. and Ben Epson, who we freed out and George Jr. Council, testified before the commission that during the trial, they had the opportunity of examining some of the accused persons as to the nature and extent of their injuries. Kweku Baku Jr. said, quote, Mauli Koka, who was the first accused on the charge sheet, had the tip of his penny.
The tip of his penny, so reason why Kweku Baku yes and say time Kufuor in his wisdom or yeah national reconciliation say ekunkum na marry when montage mommy marry to me your life million times because according to her allegedly Nana do Dankwa where there is no proof Nana do Dankwa nti ena nkofo 8 bi ewu election bi mu banya ye won proof ehun nkofo ti ase a omu di adanse no eno mari nti good morning Nana fa asam che Nana wa bende no Nana ameze nwanyina wanyim de menyim nyansa pidam na me so mala ankafoze ma tompa ho Nana fa asam che. This will not be the first time I am coming to say that. YouTube, what comment and combine the one you do one comment. The reason, if you would bear with me, me the fee NDC me say mojano enko baby intinka John Mahama uncle round na uncle munim kind. So it's no honestly Kevin Taylor na aging Jamie by Onoye who is JB Dankwa Nehu. Me can't win a soon. Mean kind in tear malam ni data and po no mean electricity. Ojinado full day to me. But all I need is to know that a wise person like Kevin Taylor has sat down to Kevin Taylor alive. Obi otum oma where you be president. So alive no koka for history lesson. There are babakasa about JB Dankwa. Now whom am I? There am on moon kon kosia. There mama sumo ko rere nkwofu bia wa akọ wonchi. Na me baby sanwanse. Na me choose Rollins. It's much Rollins and I'm there. Sana Kufuor Besidono, in his wisdom, on Pasami Ami Manana, me feel the American, but you might a profound down my sana. Kufuor in his wisdom, for why no way do man for my reconciliation be called much other malam for mankai. I'm 2003 no made me. Intimo, Namukati, as it be Munkata. Kweku Baku not in a piece FM. Nor church trust and was I mean our classy. Also, sana, papa boom. Mawana was way. That JJ Rollins that supposedly is dead. Allegedly is dead. Dama Papan, where you see, I used to revere Rollins until few hours ago that I found out that you see ignorance. That's why it's no excuse to the law. Because the fact that I was not reading and listening to these things and didn't know this much is no excuse that I was stupid enough to also force my opinions on people, whilst I didn't know that much. J.J. Rollins, or a murderer, or a beast. He's a beast. He's a heartless creature. Now, Nana couldn't do the utter say. Nana couldn't do. What I say, a beast. I will. I wasn't the one. How? Hey, Mayor who show women who love murderers. I want to know how your brain works. Nana Kunedu. Because if you were not a part of this, how were you able to sustain that marriage? How were you able, or be a royal family? Supposedly, to them, or take a course work at them, Napawati, Kunedo want to what? Hey, Kunedo, I want to and you begin within it that soul, a cocoon cotton dancing away to the Cameroonian. Nimba unti I will not child stay than here. Na I will not need be a mean the side chicks. I will not need Sally Mugabe. I will not need a profile what when Saddam Hussein near or Tadawala. Hitler, ne side chick, on nine and a punade Dajman Rollins. Nana punade that I saw Musro take fat Musro. And you was zippo. When I was applauding you for being able to gather so many women, it was okay for you. So let me also tell you, I will be ashamed to call you my mother. Hey, Zanato. Now I understand why NDC for a sideline woman. Elizabeth Ajimana Mpoma, good morning. You made my day. You made my day because YouTube before by one casata. Oh, na power. Lisbeth, Bibia Bokobia. Ghana's 24-hour economy is in progress. Hey, NDC, about fun one. Rollins on your medral or ya would other habe. Beast. Wow. So, Kweku Bako, Okra National Reconciliation Commission or Committee says Abazino. Na Kweku Bako kama ne Wakanda. Ne account. Kweku Bako kama ne account of when he was in prison and he had met some of these military guys. Vida, good morning, Middo Vida. Oh, I want Elizabeth in the one Mamala may feel très bien, merci beaucoup. Because you for no what one pin in that. Dancing away them. Love you. One day, oh, thank you for the Queen Yako. Obiaramam love and likes for TikTok Bianyami shop. One day, oh, Kevin, I'm his minimum answer, I promise you. See, as if you are beyond your content. My content is based on your content. Yes. If I am blessed to have an ace broadcaster, ace self-made journalist, from baller to blogging. Hey! Baller to blogging. What? Jinjabola dan brain pattern, champeters was the baller do. Our mouth sign. In the end, so where you want meeting or baller do. So don't fuck with any baller and I a gray and I a CA. These three places, I want to walk on one meeting. Oh, for that. And then the man you'll be an Ebra in a shanty. And yes, ye in the Messiah, who may shine to man yet. Rollins, or a beast. He was a beast. And this is not the first time I'm saying this. Yerbe election, I'm leaving NDC because he more Jano Dawson. And this was not even the angle I was coming from. Until the wise Intropo Trumutela did the most sensible expose. Oh, Waka, if she was man for hey, have you seen who was JB Dankwa? Kevin Yamin Show. But more copy. Mr. Chidan, budget non farm, budget non shutdown from Muwenya Sama Maka Obama Ghana for more framan, one of me, one of Casa. Hey, go back. Inside time, I need you. Laboni coffee shop. Oh, cool. The man bringing yana minim the sun. I want you try bien merci beaucoup. No, quack. Now, all I say, yana minim ya why you slow them. SSN, our SSN blonde, may you want to show. Pimpa monsieur. Once you have to about some kata. Very soon and very. SS, I'm a problem that never dies. So, Anya, long time. Ankama, what two papa no phone? Ankama, what two? Ankama, oh, Ankama, Matthew. Ankama, actually, sika some use our danka. Ankama, use our danka. You are going to just ube mama it's young okay. Ankama mampo me fair put them in one can say no jade ankama and some more could one of him. Willing that was sister malam me single parents. I am the father and the mother. Entire Amma Marba. Hey, Ankama, Edra. What's up, Kubaku?
Split open slightly.
Rollins, now one mother, Mawako obin koto, kwati no mutuno, in there or pay or your something. Kwekubaku come na account of uncrofuna na we prana over prison no be son and obirka. Kwekubaku say not only did he ask them, he was with them in the prison, so he saw the source. Rollins to me Katina National Reconciliation Committee was saying oh Katina ho after he had been summoned 13 times. Now he was subpoenaed. That already tells me he was a motherfucker. Also, that's another run is on you yeah. In check one friend one time now, no. Rollins suppose I would expect that one friend when I will show up if he was as honest that as oh, I can't know behind closed doors. Yuzo danka awa awzi siabotar na mesiu hinni miniko so ebe ino se besiu. Okay, thanks. Anna. Ewa inti oncher crowd my hours, what my days. Months the onye exaggerate onzi bosom. Inti almost will be some crofno, non crofno cade. Day na oye hen, no whom so. Rollins says there, as some not go back or can yapush. Into Kwekubako is here on Peace FM to set the record straight, not with Okateche. Okateche, shout out. But to make correction. There. If you are not Rollins or memory deficit, Uncle Wabonemu. Ibia ne I will free Kesiya can. You know. Or Sunday, when you listen to Kuba here, hey, as in it's a or she show a yow. Or because no quarter to non to shadow. Now was the jack was our grill cotton and tenama wa bomukwer. Na on a man and Sufimiba. Niba on to me shed draws biom, to me shed trouser biom. On a man comes sinasan. Rollins no ye. Into that many bonon kun, but or ye beast. Nana created. I yet there a chichi my I yet there how do you be so questions? Human rights, but let me be so that be see and young sen come on. You two couldn't find, send a marshal winter visit that won't po and ya impetus. Nairi justified. Who could ne wuzino bezino? Hey! Mbaba, if ya what to do, and I want to do. Into what the Imma now Rollins not show more beside the Igbo. Nana created. Oh, madam, why up mosquito? Number one casa woman. Jana mosquito, I salute. One chawanungu, one yenin papa. Ah, yet to know that I've been an idiot for this long. Hey, Majmo, my only son of friend. My only son, no papa yet aleteni ni only son. Us mes mamud beje jempe plus so also na oye oluwa juwon oguni but ne oye juwon right. Juwon ye uzina nkasa se mfa da se ibia ye Robert na obaye arja ema ana kade ye Robert baby of Bob ubana ye DJ mo aye Bob Junior obey Robert Junior right inti mukunno na oye oluwa juwon ne short form oye juwon nti ni JJ no can't be Juwon Junior. It should be he is a junior OOJ, right? But long story short, hey Rollins, hey power the ebeye nipa, power the ebeye nipa oh. Odanka, me see me try to cry, me say you are pouring love. So now Kweku Baku is here to show from the NRC reports. So no Kweku Baku say no man account. So Rollins is sick, Kweku Baku Yokoshini, say Rollins or memory deficit. If you say me Kweku Baku, say na mekane. Ben Epson so on no ni prison, he only interviewed the people, no, or also say no kind. Similar. 99% similar. Now, Crofona so atrocities no two almost one more account with the 2-1. So that's what we are going to listen to. But I'm telling you, when I was listening to this yesterday, easy, but I need all of us to go through the emotions so we can understand the level of beast JJ Rollins is, not worse, because the effect, it's lingering. Me see if he's supposed. They claim he's dead. They claim.
Yes.
Paragraph 5.7 or 5.7. Okay, this is NRC talking. Two respected journalists, Kweku Baku Jr. and Ben Epson, who we freed out the Junior Council, testified before the commission that during the trial, they had the opportunity of examining some of the accused persons as to the nature and extent of their injuries. Kweku Baku Jr. said, quote, Mauli Goka, who was the first accused on the charge sheet, had the tip of his penis split open slightly, he said, by a certain object. So it was bigger than normal, and we are all men, so we know how it is. But obviously, it was bigger. His penis appeared to have been touched, that is, bent. He suggested. He told me that there was something like cotton, that is Mauli telling me, like a candle. It looked that way, and it never really extinguishes. I mean, it doesn't burn out. That was what was used in touching his penis. The tip also was opened by a certain object, and he wasn't sure what it was. With regard to Ata Kululu, Buama Penny, he also had a similar experience. The tip of his penis had also been split open slightly bigger than all of us had hit there.
Hey! Kevin Taylor, 1 5 year old. Free mind. Being chill. No on be wokotim. Oh Jesus. I used to think a man kwan ye be or muchum eshi mumma. Hey! Or see adia na yedi roasty ne cotton in ne shuano. It is a cotton. It is a kind of idea no. It never extinguishes in do that. Into the cotton any ne shuano says here a boom. Me pacho almost your corruption. Almost corruption and we have always thought say running so kuku say generals maybe judges and prefer running say kuneu odanka amakuma hey inti NDC for you obi about truck cause Obi, this day and age, and the Otumka they deserve that. Achampon had a coup. It was bloodless and successful. Moti ye kwati obi kwati. Nimpa be miensa omusi omukwati no. Ye de ade shemu pae no more. Line na da no na omudwin sofa ho no. Jesus. But could ye or see ye de panye eshe kotimu ka womo pai. Aye! This was who Rollins was. Let's find out how many he killed. How many he buy?
He hadn't had his touched, but it kept on leaking off and on. So most times.
Baakun die na ne kwate no ebu. Baakun so die ne kwate no esoso nsuo.
It doesn't burn out. That was what was used in touching his penis. The tip also was opened by a certain object, and he wasn't sure what it was. With regard to attack, Baku Jr. said, quote, Mauli Goka, who was the first accused on the charge sheet, had the tip of his penis split open slightly, he said, by a certain object. So it was bigger than normal, and we are all men, so we know how it is. But obviously, it was bigger. His penis appeared to have been touched, that is, bent. He suggested. He told me that there was something like cotton, that is Mauli telling me, like a candle. It looked that way, and it never really extinguishes. I mean, it doesn't burn out. That was what was used in touching his penis. The tip also was opened by a certain object, and he wasn't sure what it was. With regard to Ata Kululu, Buama Penny, he also had a similar experience. The tip of his penis had also been split open slightly bigger than all of us had hit there. He hadn't had his touched, but it kept on leaking off and on. So most times he was in cloth instead of wearing pants. According to him, anytime he wore pants, The object touched the pants and he felt some pains. Chremejan had his back cut. I saw it with my own eyes. According to him, his back was cut and the flesh was given to him to chew. He refused. He shouted, quote, "My back is being cut. My back is being cut." He said he wouldn't eat it. The flesh then was given to Mauli Goka to chew. He also refused. Warrant Officer Fo, his back had been cut. I just couldn't believe it. Some tribal marks had been made at his back. So many of them, I just couldn't understand the rationale. This is the summary of my attribution relative to the Gokas.
The National Reconciliation.
At the National Reconciliation, and they have captured it in the summary form here. Now listen to Ben Epson. I went there before Ben Epson.
Okay.
Ben Epson also said, Chremejan showed me his back. The left shoe, don't forget, Ben was not in prison.
No.
He was reporting for
From the
BBC
court.
and West Africa, the court. We were in prison with these guys, and they go in and out and come back to tell us what was happening at the proceedings. Now, Ben Epson says this. Chremejan showed me his back, the left shoulder blade. There was a palm-sized cut, and he told me they had used hot metal to cut the flesh, and they asked Mauli to chew. I asked Mauli, and he confirmed it. Mauli also on rest showed me his male organ, which had been slit, and he said they had tried to pull it out. W.O. Aforo also showed me the hand, which he said had been tied at the table and they had used it as a target practice. Then Atapeni, who was also in cloth at the tribunal, opened and showed me what was left of his genital. It looked like a male organ. It looked like the male organ and the testicles had been lumped together, like, pardon me, my want of better use the word grilled, because there was always pus coming out. Ben was there. It appears there was a memory deficit relative to Mr. Rawlings' recollection, because what kind of time Ben didn't go there. Even if Ben went there, Ben did not corroborate what I had said. But I mean, between these two summaries, is there any vast difference?
No.
Yes. So Mr. Rawlings got it all wrong. I'll be prepared to forgive him because we need Onyabo Fraba and maybe on his mind. And then this is how many years ago?
2003.
Yes. So it is possible there in his recollection, he didn't get everything right. But before I end, Kwame, see, the same NRC report, what they did when they were dealing with the Goka Chremejan aspect, the NRC assessed the tribunal records. In fact, the tribunal not try home.
Yeah.
So the NRC assessed those records and me refresh a month for memory. Kakra. In the evidence of Goka, I'm quoting from the NRC thing, except not the whole thing. Also,
That's Mauli Goka.
Mauli's point na mekano. We eventually got to a destination. This is a statement he had issued to the security agencies who were investigating them. These statements, and also we eventually got to a destination where we were told to get down from the truck. Chairman and I were separated. I was told to stand after being sent somewhere. Then shots were fired all around me. I was sent into a room where I was instructed to sit on the floor. And they started beating me with what appeared to be a barbed wire because I could feel it prickling me. The beating went on for about an hour. Then I felt Sheme had been brought into the room because I heard his voice. I was told to remove my shirt so that my handcuffs were opened. I removed my shirt and I sat down. Later, I was told to open my mouth and something that tasted like meat, raw meat, was put into my mouth. Prior to this, Sheme was shouting that his back was being cut. After that, I was given something to drink and it tasted and smelled like a urine. I was kicked in the abdomen. My private part was bent in the process. I lost control of myself and urinated. Sheme and I were told to lick the urine, which we did. My private part was taken and the tip of it was slashed to make it longer. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
We were dragged from the truck and sent into a hole. And then we were told to say our last prayers. And I recited Psalm 23 aloud. We were then fired above our heads. This is him, Mauli. They told us, and I told them was who were torturing them, except what they told me. And they mentioned Jack Bibley. They mentioned my own close good friend who also died in a very mysterious way, James Kwashi. He was the son of a former trade minister in the Second Republic. He was a journalist too. They implicated. When I came out from jail, I confronted him. He says, look, I was there. But you look at me, I'm an intellectual, I'm a journalist. I couldn't have taken it. But he had become a member of the 64 Infantry Regiment. And he considered he was present, but he didn't take part. But of course, it made him, in a way, accessory. You know, he died mysteriously subsequently. His story will be told one day. Then, of course, they mentioned Tony Beho, who was also a close friend of mine, but he was in security, very close to Rawlings. We all know what happened to Tony Beho too. Subsequently, his house became a target of arson perpetrated by his own friends. Okay, Tony Beho too was implicated, but they made the point that Tony would always come there, observe things without touching anybody. And when I asked Tony, he agreed that yes, the torture took place, and the torture used to take place for former IGP resident near the American embassy. Sister, where what I back to IGP? Yes. Tama used to say IGP official residence. They turned that place into a den for the commandos, the police commandos and the military commandos, the 64 boys. Quite a lot of them I knew. As friends, we grew up together and things minimal. We're only different in terms of the political orientation. Now this is what Mauli said. I could stop here because it's enough. But then when Chairman Jan, I was beaten up with what felt like a barbed wire, something like an iron rod, and the butt of a gun from all angles. Then when this had ceased after 15 minutes or so, or somebody just said, this is the beginning of what is in store for you if you don't admit the following. They had done some list of names for them. They will implicate those people. Now, when I recovered, I heard Mauli crying from beatings. Somebody else said I had been very difficult, and almost immediately I felt my back being cut. And I shouted, oh God, my back being cut. My back is being cut. It was put into my mouth with the orders that I should chew my own flesh. I spat it off. I
spat it out.
Yes. After asking me to lick something from the floor, something that tasted like urine, I was sent back into the vehicle together with Mauli. It's on and on. Samuel he started hitting me with things like iron, sticks and barbed wire on my joints. And this was done for about 30 minutes. I was beaten with an object like a barbed wire and some hot metal plate being used on my body, and something like a knife being used in cutting my chest. My nails were removed from my fingers and toes. My penis was lashed, and I shouted for a while, and I heard something being pushed down my throat. I felt something like a lighter to bend the penis, and I felt the tip being slashed. Then something like a needle being pushed into it. I urinated and eased myself.
This is Chile.
This is Buama.
Buama pain.
Yes, minimal. And these are people we met face to face. We're in the same cells with them underground. Akuse ward. Oshaford, no, underground. Kusi Pratt, Akutuan Pau, Raf Kubi. He was an ACDR member. How they mixed him up with us is another interesting story one day will be told. But he was with us. And together with Charles Taylor, the Liberian president.
From Messina, you also met.
Oh, yes. With the bottom. I'm sorry. But of course, that is this. I had a companion. He was there with the Gokas. The Chiramajans, they were about 7 or 8. Now, what they here for, no, 11. Very small place that would have been okay for about 4 or 5. But we were able to share the place all right. Actually, we was separating here to different places. We see Prating went to Navrongo. Agutuampa Isao, myself, Kitekrachi, Raf. I've forgotten where they took Raf. I've lost touch with him. No, it's Kwame. Basically, Mr. Rollins, I'm prepared to be charitable and say they be no recollection, no limited and down. But also, soldier for done because we are professionals.
Yeah.
But I was done by soldiers and police people. That we police so-called commandos or police panthers or somebody. On our 64 infantry boys, one away at Aminame. They were soldiers. Really, I'm surprised. Also, true book. We can't wait for it.
Just like we can't wait for yours.
Yes. And Mr. Rollins, I watch her for some time now. It's not my focus. And right now, Kwame, he shouldn't be the focus. Yeah, of course, 6 months to elections. And Mr. Rollins intrudes himself. As for the journalist who interviewed him is fantastic. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
Every journalist, damn good journalist, would look for that opportunity. It was fantastic for the radio station as well as for Kwesi. Of course, we used to explain why interview big people all over the world.
But he's always wanted this interview.
Yes, that's not what I'm questioning. It's fantastic. I would love to have that kind of opportunity. But on your interview, maybe you should have reflected a bit and know there, in Sembi Obakano, will necessarily provoke reactions. And those reactions, I can tell you, you will not be happy with them. Final one.
Yeah.
The Air Force Station executions, extrajudicial executions, was one of the submitted testimony at the NRC. Eventually, check out the Riyadh considered that he did those payments.
Yeah,
Riyadh was he even claimed that he was doing it on behalf of the state, ordered by the government of the day. Because there were people, one classic example, the Kudu leader. People didn't believe that Rollins could sit by and have Kuduli executed because of how close they were. I mean, to be honest with you, even though some of us were in jail, we would get to be. The prison officers are involved in. The truth is that he was genuinely executed. It is not true he found a way for him to run out to Cuba or elsewhere. It's also not true that what is cement, the Yamashisha, or aircraft, what the helicopter course, that's also not true. But the point really is that Riyadh confirmed that he did those for me. Yeah. He had them, except and also with the mass state. Now, a Kaida Rollins. No, we invited him 13 times. One of the opportunities, invitations, and was for him to come and cross-examine me. The same with Riyadh. Because it's not the Akwa Kanti, na Afa Umwait. They gave him the opportunity 13 times with different people, squadron leader Tego Munia, Wanko. Riyadh, I think, went for that Dabuga one. He cross-examined, if I recollect correctly. Riyadh cross-examined at Dabuga. Riyadh didn't cross-examine me. He had the opportunity. He was given a date every time to come and confront me. He came out with a bizarre story there. What Damina Boachijanmo, ya plot to assassinate him. So, Sebakaya, down in the Rollins, ya by assassinate him or NRC. Can you believe that? So he lost the opportunity to subject me to cross-examination. Indeed, I was waiting so anxiously because that did not bear drama. Mama, catch the NRC. There are few things I was holding on to because I promised them NRC. So I wanted them to come and tell their own story. Of course, some came, some didn't come. Into Kwame, as some other holiday, Rollins, when he appeared under subpoena, he didn't go there willingly.
Just someone switch.
Yes, he rejected 13 invitations for him to come and testify, cross-examine people, or even give his testimony. He rejected them. I didn't know he was that much of a coward. Minimum or a coward, but NRC, no wakokasa. Kwame Okweno, no, we had two things from him, Zakaya. They wanted a Mate tape and the extrajudicial execution video from the Air Force, the Air Force base. Yeah. What did he tell the world? He told the Tete, who had died and gone. Now, really speaking, those materials, they should have been in security archives. Yeah. National Security Archives, or something for the head of state of the day, no something for W Tete. Inti Obaniden at Nukubru Tete ho, and Tete we couldn't find. Well, I thought that was of doubtful validity. The truth is that they couldn't afford to let the NRC assess those two things. They couldn't. Tape in the Kuduyanka as editor of the People's Daily Graphic. Or transcribe the historian where they ended up taking the job away from him. Yeah. Okay? So please, Mr. Rawlings, I had taken a very conscious decision that my focus on you will be reflected in the book that I'm writing. And that's all. It was no longer of any serious relevance and significance to contemporary Ghanaian politics, as far as I'm concerned. Why we move on. Kind of a historical recollection. And that's where I put my mind. And it's been so for the last 4 or 5 years. Occasionally, we are discuss, but the focus, Sabakaya, consistent, sustained, persistent focus I had for him. I decided that, look, put these things in a book form and let's move on. But if he is going to have opportunities like this unique one that he got from Asasi FM, and he won't tell the truth, and he won't show remorse, and he would peddle lies about people, well, some of us, by the grace of God, are still alive. And Kwame Safaka has a platform like this, and I know he will come and he will provoke me to actually make a submission. And I will gladly oblige you.
That is Kweku Bako. Now,
I didn't provoke. He's on the front page of Missy Brad's newspaper. How many
Actually Rawlings Okun? Because if you can, now you are put to a champion, na beka 3 judges, no. You are way one, ya beka 3 judges, and there be Tiewasu Nimpadodua Rawlings. Oyi omufi asasi so. Makwala ma kanwo. Makwala ma. Very squad no say na makwala ma kanwo. Inti ana mujina hano. Winning back on Jimmy Bebre, when we near after na mo ka JB down for them. Yes, you Lucy after the Yaka Rawlings as them. Oh, Jan.
He mentioned various things, including the said mandate and brought former President brought.
Yeah, bet ye na.
In our previous segment, we spoke to Nana Adjuma. Welcome once again to the Hour Show on NDD TV. Today we have in the studio a prominent man who actually led the coup of 1981 and brought former President Rawlings to power. In our previous segment, we spoke to Nana Adjuma Kunyamiche. He mentioned various names, including the said man that we have in the studio. I was privileged to meet him in Ghana, and we spoke about his book, Rawlings, Murder and Lies. In his book, he narrates how the whole coup was orchestrated, the atrocities that were committed, and also the murder of the 3 judges, including the former major. All the way from Oslo, Norway, we welcome Mr. Matthew Adebuka to the studio.
Thank you.
Mr. Adebuka, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're going to go through various aspects.
So this is Adebuga, right?
And Asamoah was not there. Asamoah came later on. He was the workers at this thing, Tema. This.
I'm coming. I want to get to a point.
I was the one who Akatabori talked to, and then I recruited the people for Rawlings and Rawlings itself, and I was the one who released the first shot. So I take full responsibility and other places. And
I'm going starting from the middle, then we'll go to the front.
But I take
Because I want us to hear how many people were murdered.
In terms of you killing willingly and in taking delight, you have the privilege to now tell them what you really think and what a good man you are.
Yes, thank you very much. Like I said, no, I have never killed anybody physically like that without any cause. But in battle, either you kill or be killed. And so I cannot say I didn't kill anybody during the fighting. On our side, we lost people during the assault to the brokers and other places. And then the enemy too, they lost people. But I take responsibility because I was the one who Akatapori talked to. And then I recruited the people for Rollins and Rollins himself. And I was the one who released the first shot.
Wow.
So I take full responsibility. And so when the national reconciliation came, I went there willingly. And then I stood before them. I even wanted to meet Rollins. I met Chikata. And when Chikata was trying to play game, he brought a complete lawyer over Asamoah. And Asamoah was not there. Asamoah came later on. He was the workers at this thing, Tema, this defense committee. He was a coordinator. And they rejected him. And when he came, he was wearing Wellington boots with some Chanchambaka, the Kwame Nkrumah, broom. I was the one who matched him to Rollins. And you are coming to tell me that you are coming to defend Kojo Chikata.
No.
And I know how Kojo Chikata's car was stolen and bent. I know the people who did it.
He died rich.
So what are you coming to say? And when I brought that, he say, my Lord, arrest my case, no more questions. Because if they wanted, I would have revealed the whole moon.
Okay.
You see? And Rollins, he didn't come. I was there till I left. He never came because if he came, the same moon I revealed. Because I know more than.
How do you feel when
thanks
he
for
actually
sharing.
denied you entirely? And he's not done it just at the reconciliation meeting. He's done it on several platforms.
Yes.
He does not know you.
Yeah, he said he does not know me because he's a coward. That's what.
Me bani papa, or see your head thing. He acts like he's ignoring me. Me say, Omu na ya womu June, nom ye gem, nom ye who form ye de qua.
I can say, after me doing all this thing for him, he knows very well that when he meets me, I will just tell him certain things that he would like the F to open and he will enter and bury himself. And he hasn't stopped there. You see, if I were the only person that you can say that he has used or I was being deceived, then it would be okay. You saw what happened to Aka, and you saw what happened to President Kufuor. After today, he has started it. He actually sent meals to his grave. You see? And when Muhammad came...
That is a serious talk.
Yes, he sent meals to his grave.
What do you mean by that?
Since he wanted the wife to stand, and when they went to Sunyani, the wife didn't win. Since then, he has never stopped condemning meals. He insulted meals everywhere. Used an opportunity. The man was sick, and then he was doing his best for the country, and Rollins was on him till he died. And during the ambulance, you saw what he said. It was an omen for him to die. It was God sent that Mills died early. Otherwise, the party wouldn't have been what. How can somebody say something like that? A former head of state. That's why I say he sent him to the grave.
Should Rollins have ever given you those ornaments, the gold, the diamond? Because he seemed to be very particular about that, even when you were in the broadcasting station. Would you have been so much against him and his family?
Actually,
Intina Rollins was offer gold. Inti PMMC, Boha High, Estati Yache. Money Jimwao.
They went to a funeral. The killing was just too much. It was what they call collateral. They call it collateral damage. Well, there's nothing called holy, but you can give it any name, unless otherwise you can just brainwash the people like they did to us. So they say it was holy, which it wasn't holy. It wasn't only Ashantis who died or Northerners, they were to die. So it was across board, you see. And so it was a sad situation. But the belief was that Amachi, they say what? How do they say? Okay. So if nothing spoiled, nothing will become okay. And so for a few people to die for us to get an Ethiopia, whereby there will be milk and honey, I think that is how we understood it. You see, unfortunately, it was milk and honey for Rollins, the Hoys, the Hudu Yayas, and the rest. You can see today, they have just said and loaded and loaded. What about the Nima people? What about
that he talked about?
Yes.
That he showed you?
Yes, they are still the same.
When you had that opportunity, why didn't you ever question him about that?
He didn't come. No, when we were there and I questioned him, he was saying that it's an ongoing process and it will take time. You see, whether he was right or I was wrong, I don't know. But today, I think that Ghanaians they would have forgotten about the few people who died because we would have compensated them. Today, you come and
give everything he has out.
Yes. No, and also apologize like I'm doing for. Because that was not meant to be. If on the other hand, it has come out that, Canary, they are talking about, we go investigate. 4th June, Rollins like this boy, it's called Anto. Anto, it's a network guy. Rollins knew him when they were playing basketball. That's how he liked it.
He's mentioned random people who were murdered.
That's true. Don't forget that the juice was getting finished, the money. The wife too was working at UTC. I said, yes, we did them. And then we are sorry. And all that money is. Yes, because, excuse me to say, 60% of the population of 50 are semi-literate. They haven't got quality education. So they come and say, and because of conditions that are not created for them to get jobs and feed their families, the little Gary or what you call milk and sugar they give them to see the trend. When you get into election, if you are efficient, you get petrol or alcohol motors. In the north, you get bicycle, and then what you call. Would you have not considered running
for any governmental position?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You are tired.
No.
You are fed up.
I'm fed up because he came and then lie, and he's still doing it. As I said, you can see that all these head of state, secretly in their heart, they will be telling me, thank you.
Any other evidence to pin him down except this book?
Yeah, but I'll hold that for now, so that when, because nobody is doing anything about it, like this judges and like this gold and the rest. I went to the NRC as I am with you, and I said everything.
And nothing has been done.
Yeah, they say they leave it to their conscience.
They leave it to their conscience.
Yeah,
who said that?
It was the government of Kufuor. Okay. When I went to testify and even met them, you see,
what exactly do you want to happen to Rollins for you to be at peace?
I want him to come like me and apologize and say, yes, we did them.
This is what I was telling Jim.
We are sorry. And all that money he made, he should be prepared to admit. Because I was there and other people who were there, you go and ask those soldiers who were there. Gold was being brought and ferried to, transported to Libya. Patently sent gold to Libya. He's still alive. Go and ask him.
Rollins.
You see? Riyadh. He stole gold and he ran away. Ask him what happened and he came back. He stole gold. During the PNDC era, he went to Australia. Ask him. He came when this thing. Abdallah. There was one guy called Major Jalud. He was the second in command to Gaddafi. He was coming to take the gold. And if nobody want to investigate, you give it to the treasure hunters. Indiana Jones and his group. They will find where the treasure is.
Hey!
You see?
Zaneto.
So I want him to agree that he came to loot, he and the wife. In fact, I cannot hold him because, you see, after 4th June, Rollins was being retired. And when he went and sat home, don't forget that the juice was getting finished, the money. The wife too was working at UTC, and they retrench her, and they have a child to take care.
Zaneto.
So they say, Kai, ready, let's come back. And that's why they plotted. So, and you can see it today, they're among the richest people. While some of us, not only me, the students who were crying, let the blood flow, and all those people, they were all being.
So the wife was also involved in the whole process.
Yes, the wife was involved. Yay! Wicked.
You call them wicked?
Very wicked.
Why?
The bodyguard, 4th June, Rollins like this boy. He's called Anto. You know? Anto. He's a network guy. Rollins knew him when they were playing basketball. That's how he liked it. And he took him to go and guide the wife. 31st, it was the same guy Rollins chose. The wife made them to kill him.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe you know too much. You know the secrets too much. You see? Mens, it's called mens. Ask this question, what happened? That's why I say she's wicked. So, this Sawam Canary they are talking about, go investigate. How many houses do Achampon have? How many houses or cars did Akufo have? How many toilets did Afrifa have? Amedomi and all those people. They killed them for nothing. And today, as you go to Ajigano or Tefle or whatever it is, they count the toilets. How many can Rollins fit inside? And this was why he was telling us. Then we say, hey. You see? So that's why I said that no, he's not fit. Because he said all these things, and then today you come and
should give everything he has out.
Yes.
Would you still hold grudge against him?
No. And also apologize like I'm doing for